Hi everyone, it's Mr. Masura here. So, in the previous two videos, I showed you how to do speed calculations. In the first example, we were given a distance and a time and asked to calculate a speed. The second example, we were given a time and a speed and asked to calculate a distance. Well, in this one, this is the most difficult kind of problem that I could give you using this physics formula. All right, so let's go ahead and approach it. Again, it's the same steps in showing your work that we would always do. So it says a wave runner moves with a speed of 20 meters per second. The lake is 1.2 kilometers across. How much time will it take to cross the lake? So let's start by listing what we know. First, it says it moves with a speed of 20 meters per second. Well, I know speed is represented with the letter S. So that's our speed. Next, it says the lake is 1.2 kilometers across. Well, I know that's the distance that the wave runner has to travel. So I put D equals 1.2 kilometers. And finally, it asks how much time will it take? Well, that means the time, or T, is our question mark. That's listing what we know. Here's the catch. If I were to use these numbers and continue solving the problem, I would actually get the wrong answer. And maybe some of you might notice why. Specifically, it's that it gives us the distance in kilometers. Well, the problem is in this formula, if you want to be consistent, you would have to convert the kilometers into meters. We always plug in the distance in meters, the time in seconds, and the speed in meters per second. So that means I have to convert this measurement from kilometers into meters. And that goes all the way back to converting metric units, which we learned in Unit 1. So we're going kilometers to meters. That means we have to keep his dog moving down Center Main. Keep his dog moving down Center Main. And we're going from kilometers into meters. So that means we have to move the decimal point 3 spots to the right. So let's see, here's our 1.2, and we got to move the decimal 3 spots right. 1, 2, 3. So that gives us a distance of 1,200 meters. Now you notice in your list, anytime you have to convert something like this, you need to have both numbers. I don't just check your final answer, I check your work too. So if the word problem says 1.2, and you just write 1,200, I'd be like, where did you get that number from? Or if you just take a 1.2 and then miraculously plug 1,200 into your formula, I'll wonder where that comes from as well. So anytime you do a conversion, you have to make sure that you have both numbers, both the one from the problem and the converted value you're going to use in your list. So that's our list. Our second step is to write the formula. S equals D divided by T. Our third step is to plug in the numbers. Well, we know our speed is 20. Our distance, remember, we have to use the distance in meters. So we're going to use 1,200 divided by our time, which is T. So that's it with the numbers plugged in. This is the second part that gets tricky. You see, a lot of students get to this point, and then they get stuck trying to solve for T. Multiply by 1,200, or divide by 1,200, or multiply by 20. Well, it turns out the key is to get T out from the bottom of this fraction. That's not a good spot for it. And to get it out from the bottom of the fraction, you multiply both sides by T. So, if we multiply both sides by T, on our left we have T times 20, which is 20T. And on our right, we have 1,200 divided by T times T. That leaves us with just 1,200. So you notice by multiplying both sides by T, you have gotten T out from the bottom of that fraction. And my guess is that this looks a little bit easier to solve, right? We have 20 times T, so to get T by itself, we divide both sides by 20. 20T divided by 20 gives you T. 1,200 divided by 20 gives you 60. So that means our time is 60. Oh, and we need our units, seconds. So this kind of problem is the toughest kind I could give you using this formula. There are two things that can trip students up. One is remembering to do your conversions. You always use your speed in meters per second, your distance in meters, and your time in seconds. And if it doesn't give you that information, you must convert it into the appropriate unit, showing both items in your list. The other thing that can trick people up is solving for t over here. When you have something you want in the bottom of the fraction, like in this case t, multiply both sides by t to get it out from the bottom of the fraction, and it should be easier to solve from there. Hope this helps.